Hello and welcome to Feminine Success Secrets, the place women come to become powerfully feminine. I am Candice Oneida. Today I'm going to teach you 6 steps to do self-care through self-compassion. Are you really hard on yourself? Do you find it kind of difficult to forgive yourself when you make a mistake? Are you a bit of a perfectionist? Do you find yourself feeling a bit resentful? Do you take things personally? Now, if you relate to any one or any number of those questions I just asked, then you are suffering from a lack of self-compassion. Now, the reason why I'm talking about self-compassion as core principles for self-care, because these things become the life, living, ongoing background about how you're treating yourself in life. So step number 1, forgive yourself. We all make mistakes. To err is human, as they say. There's a learning to forgive yourself when you make mistakes that is really compassionate. It's really, okay, I screwed up, I did something wrong, I didn't do it intentionally, I didn't mean to screw up that job or hurt that person or say that thing in a way that landed poorly. Forgive yourself. Now, of course, self-forgiveness, as we learn how to do this, leads to being able to forgive others when they screw up, when they err, when they fumble something, okay? Step number 2, no more shoulds and shouldn'ts. No more right and wrong. No more good and bad. These dialectics of should and shouldn't, good, bad, right, wrong, are the core of how duality goes wrong inside of us. There's this beautiful work by this man called Marshall Rosenberg called Nonviolent Communication, or what it later became known as compassionate communication, as it happens. Essentially, one of the things he teaches in nonviolent communication is to get out of this dynamic of right, wrong, good, bad, should, shouldn't, and separate yourself from what's happened and to feel deeply into yourself. In a way, that's another step, but we have to stop the shoulds and shouldn'ts first, catch yourself doing it and go instead, what am I feeling? What am I feeling right now? This is a little aside tip to a pathway to true inner freedom. Own your feelings. It is very compassionate to own your feelings. Step number 3, let go. As they say, the best laid plans of mice and men. Now, what that means is, look, if you're a smart, successful, ambitious woman, we have high expectations of what we want to achieve, how we want to be, how we communicate. We tend to be extremely hard on ourselves in a way that is a bit inhuman. You wouldn't necessarily do it in the same way with somebody else, but it can also lead to having really strong expectations of other people. So learning how to let go is about, okay, I planned to do this, it fell through. Sometimes things just don't go the way that we planned. And in fact, in a learning of feminine power, we learn to be a lot more fluid with the way we goal set, with the way we communicate, with the way we use our body, in the way that we create expectations. And assumptions, by the way, as they say, assumptions make an ass out of you and me. Ass you me. It's a pretty good one, actually. So we want to be a bit more fluid with how we goal set, how we plan things. It's way more enjoyable for you. It's way more enjoyable for who's sharing whatever that is with you if you have more fluidity. And again, as an aside, if you're in a relationship situation, You want to let the masculine do the leading in order that we can receive and to follow and be more in the inviting orientation. We are about experience as women. Experience is more important to us than the goal. Step number 4, stop self-judgments. You have to drop the self-judgment. It comes from this, being hard on yourself isn't going to make you better at what you do. Being hard on yourself doesn't make you excel. In fact, being hard, just think of the words, being hard on yourself creates a crystallization, a hardening inside somehow of your structure. We want to do the opposite as women. We want to create space. We want to create expansion. We want to create opportunities. We want to create invitation, right? So stop being hard on yourself. And the antithesis, the obvious antithesis, is be soft with yourself. And it doesn't mean that you're going to be less successful or less capable or less intelligent. It actually creates more fluidity, more lubrication of consciousness when you learn how to do that. Step number 5, don't take things personally. I know this was a big one for me and still is at times. So, friend in front of me is tired or a bit cranky or a bit shitty and they're being short with me. And I think it's about me. It's usually not. Something's gone wrong and I take it personally. I've done something wrong. Now the thing is, honestly, underneath that is some belief that you are wrong. There's something wrong with you. And so we have to come back to this, don't take it personally if someone is behaving a certain way in front of you. Whether it's somebody you love and adore or the checkout chick's being short with you, don't take it personally. All of these steps I'm teaching you today, when you learn how to bring compassion to yourself, you then start to see through a lens of compassion on behalf of others. And it's such a beautiful thing when you can drop these things, drop that. Don't be like this. Be more open, be more fluid, be more soft. Because then you can go, that person's having a really hard day. I wonder what I can do in my energy to hold a space for them, to be more receptive, to be more supportive. And if you're reacting to them because you think that there's something wrong with you, then that doesn't help anybody. And step number 6, be gentle with yourself. Be gentle with yourself. Now, if we're wanting people, friends, partners, life to be gentle with us, we need to learn to be gentle with ourselves first. This is a follow-on from the not being hard on yourself. So being gentle, being kind, being compassionate toward yourself. We tend to be harder on ourselves than we are with anybody else, right? And there's something not quite right about that. There's a learning through this, being gentle, being compassionate, being kind, doing self-care in general, that changes your energy, it changes your relationship to your body, it changes your relationship to your life. If you liked the steps and the video today, give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down, I don't mind, just interact. I love interaction on the channel. And I'd love you to put a comment below on how you are compassionate to yourself. And remember, when you have the courage to go out there and shine, you give others permission to do the same. So let's go out there and shine this week. Bye-bye for now.